Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And we just finished our match against Real Oviedo, which we're walking away with 3 points and a comfortable 3-0 lead, 3-0 win. Well, man, what can I say? Like today, we played a lot better than we did the first game. That's for damn sure, right? Pressuring people going back. Oh, I like my necklace. Pressuring people going back. Actually tracking back. I mean, at least in the first half. But we'll get there in a minute. And just overall, man, it was just a very, very solid performance compared to the first game. And there's not really much that I could complain about, honestly. The ref was pretty fair. I will say this: from I didn't see it at first. From the replays that I saw, because for everything I like to be fair. I saw Shuameni actually committing a foul when he recovered the ball for the first goal. Do I think it would have affected us at the end? No, we ended up winning by 3-0 anyway. Um, but yeah, based on what I saw, that first goal should not have counted for us. You got to be fair. If you're going to criticize, if you're going to praise and you're going to criticize another team for some other thing, you got to be fair and do it overall. And based on what I saw in the replays, again, I didn't catch it at first, but I do not think that first goal should have counted. From what I saw, Shuameni came up from behind, and even though he did win the ball, he did clip the player on the back of his ankle first. And for all purposes, that should not have counted. But yeah, again, like we overall we dominated the game from start to finish. And to be fair, they had their chances, bro. Like they had the chances. They hit the post in the second half, twice. So they definitely put up a fight too. But yeah, man, like overall, like I said, the only thing I could focus on is how much of a better performance it was than in the first game. Now, to be fair, Oviedo was attacking a lot more than Osasuna was, so we kind of had a different approach to the game. And because they were more attacking, we had more of a chance to go on a counter attack, and that's where a lot of chances came from, right? But yeah, overall, great performance. Rodrigo came on. He started. I was honestly very, very shocked for him to start. But I think it shows that little part of the mentality that I was hoping Xabi would show, right? Where it's not just about the name on the back of the jersey; it's what you do on the field to get the win for the team, right? And I think he showed that because I don't think Vinny should have been tired any more tired than anybody else would be on the field. At least, not at least Valverde. Again, it was another game where he was just fucking everywhere on the pitch, and he had another solid performance. Uh, Kind of like pointing out the obvious when it comes to Valverde. He's gonna work hard. He's gonna do shit that you need on the field. And no matter where you put him, he's gonna perform. So he had a very, very solid performance overall too. And yeah, up until he got subbed off, to be honest, like Rodrigo had an amazing first half. Amazing. He was tracking back. He was creating spaces. He was, trying some things here and there. But and he wasn't complaining to the refs. That's a big thing, right? Especially for what happened in the second half. Second half comes in, he was a little bit more quiet, and then he got replaced by Vinicius. Bro, 10 minutes in, Vinicius got a yellow card. That yellow card was probably the best thing to happen to Madrid during this fucking game, right? Because you see it, and yeah, there's contact, but bro, like the ref is right there. Like you can't just dive like that and try to oversell something if you know for a fact it wasn't that. You know what I mean? Like in no way, shape, or form, from any angle that you could put it, could he have made it seem like it was as bad as he wanted it to seem. You know what I mean? Like, and that's been Vinny's problem for a while. For a while, it's not even since he started underperforming in like mid last season. Like he's been doing that for a minute, and it's one of the things that just it's just very annoying. I mean, you can see the refs are getting tired with it, and it's gonna come to the point where it's literally gonna be like the girl who cried wolf, or the boy who cried wolf, where something's gonna happen, right? Or things are gonna happen where it should be counted as a foul, but they're not gonna fucking count it because it's coming because they know who it's coming from, and they know that this guy will try to sell us absolutely everything he can. So more likely than not, if you didn't catch it a certain way, it's probably not gonna be a foul. And it sucks because the way that he plays, like he draws a lot of fouls to him anyway. So like whatever, it's gonna be something else. But after he got the yellow card, man, he changed. He turned into the Vinny from, or as close as we've seen to the Vinny from old. And when I say Vinny from old, you guys gotta realize too, like Vinny was not like he scored goals, he provided assists, but he was never prolific, right? He like you never expected him to give you 30 goals a season. His his thing is that he's a creator. He opens up spaces, and he provides opportunities to score the goal as much as he scores goals himself. And that's what I saw, right? When he actually stole the ball to and gave the through ball to Mbappe so he could score the second. That was a great sneak from behind. But to be fair, before that, I didn't really see him track back that much anyway, right? Mbappe, a solid performance, 2 goals before he subbed off, and I don't know, man. Like even I know Vinny provided him the assist, but from what I saw this game, I still saw that Rodrigo just meshed a little bit better with Mbappe, at least in the time that he had on the field. Um, Brahim had a very solid performance. Guler I'm happy to see the way Guler is performing. Now a lot of people that I saw online, like literally during the game, right during halftime, because I go through feeds and stuff like that, and I read what people are saying, and like they were gunning for Guler for some reason. Like you guys gotta remember, you cannot compare him to someone like Cruz or Modric, right? Especially during their time in Madrid. Guler is 20. When Cruz came to Madrid, he was 24. He was already a World Cup winner. He was already a Champions League winner. He was already a multi-time Bundesliga winner. When Modric came from Tottenham, even though he hadn't won anything at the fucking Spurs, he was already 26. He was established with the national team. He had that stuff in him. Now Guler's got to grow into that. Not everybody in the world, and another person you can't really compare him to is someone like Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal is a fucking phenomenon. If Lamine Yamal does not finish his career with multiple Ballon d'Or wins, I'm not gonna say it's a failure, but he's clearly underachieved. Like, and you could be the most diehard Madrid fan, bro. You cannot look past. Like, you have to fucking acknowledge that, right? So the people who are mostly hitting on Guler are the Barca fans, bro. Like, if you're telling me this kid Lamine Yamal is that great, which I acknowledge, like you just heard me say, of course, someone like Guler is not going to be as good as. I don't expect Guler to be as good as an overall player or as impactful as someone like Lamine Yamal should be, right? But at the end of the day, he's still very, very skilled with the ball. He's technical. He can get those passes. And from what I've seen, and I said it before, this is the reason why I didn't understand why he wasn't getting that much playing time last year, is if you see him play, he gives you parts of what Cruz did and parts of what Modric did. Do I think he's ever gonna reach those same heights in that particular set? Like I don't ever think he'll be as good on the ball or like a magician as Modric was, or as good of a player and what's it called passer as Cruz was. No, but he can give you the best of both worlds. Maybe not tens each, but if he can get a combined like nine, like he could be a 9 at what Modric did and a 9 at what Cruz did, that you have a fucking amazing player. And he could be the anchor for the midfield. Now, obviously, we're gonna see what happens when Bellingham comes back. Um, but it's good to see, right? I don't think it'll be that much of a conversation as far as when he comes back. Like, all right, Bellingham is back. Someone has to sit on the bench, but I would want them to perform enough to at least have Xavi thinking like, damn, like, should I start him like immediately because it's Bellingham and he's that good, or have these players been performing and should I give them and should I give Bellingham minutes off the bench instead, right? Something like that is a good problem to have. Now, aside from that, something else that I also noticed throughout the entirety of the match is very similar to the first match. We were relying a lot on Dean Housen to give through balls from the back and to give back those long balls. Again, it's not a bad thing to have a center back have that ability and have that in his skill set, but you can't make that the main thing, because and it happened 2 times during this game where they passed it to him, he misplaced the pass, and both times he actually recovered the ball himself, right? So props to that. But at the end of the day, once he lost the ball, they were scrambling to get back defense to the point where if he didn't hustle back and get the ball back himself, we would have been in danger. And again, it's great to have that, but to have that be the main way for you to take the ball upfield, it's eventually it's gonna fail. Like against the bigger teams, like against someone like Barcelona, Atletico Madrid is struggling, right? But sometimes teams struggle at the beginning of the season. I don't expect them to be like that for the entirety of it, right? But especially like imagine we're middle of the Champions League. Like those teams are going to be able to expose that, and it's not going to be that hard to do it if you know that's what's happening, right? Again, Bellingham is out, so hopefully that's going to change when Bellingham comes back. One of the best things to see as a Madrid fan, to be honest, was Dani Carvajal starting. And that's another like Trent came off the bench. And this is gonna sound crazy to say, but do you know where the right back was the majority of the match? Where the right back was the majority of the match? The right back. That's where he was. And that's why he over like I think he performed well. Like if that's the Danny Carvajal we're gonna get, Trent is gonna have some trouble starting unless something happens with the formation of the team, because he might not have Daniel Carvajal was never the fastest. He was never the fastest. It's his smart on defense that help him track back and help him like put these attacking players in positions to either make a false move or make a bad pass. It's the intelligence of a defender that he has on the ball. Plus, he's great going forward, man. Like I don't like. Do people see what Trent did or has been doing and what Carvajal has been doing going forward and think that there's a huge gap in that skill? Because there isn't. There isn't. Again, he's coming back from a horrible, horrible knee injury where he fucked up both of the meniscus and his ACL. So hopefully, a performance like this is just a start. But at his age, you never know. But if he keeps on performing like this, man, Trent's gonna have some trouble starting. Getting into the starting lineup, and I don't know where they go from there because, I, again, like who in midfield will he replace? Like right now, I'm not starting him over Arda Guler. I'm definitely starting him over Valverde if they want to put him to the right, right. And I wouldn't even start him over someone like Brahim who has that skill going forward. Um, and then one more issue that's a little bit off the field is we have way too many players on the bench that could easily be starting in other clubs, and that's going to be a problem, right? So if you remember the 23-24 season, the reason why someone like Jose Lu was so amazing to have on the pitch or on your team is because he knew his role. If he started a game, he was grateful to start the game, and he left it all on the pitch, right? But when he didn't start the game and he was on the bench, he didn't complain, he didn't bitch because he knew his part, he knew his role. In this team, you have players on the bench who can arguably be starters in like in a top six team in England or in other teams that are playing in Europe, and especially during a World Cup year, I think that's going to be a problem, especially going down. If some players don't leave this season, like I'd be surprised if Ceballos, if Brahim are still players in February. And the reason why I say February is because they're still adapting to the new coach. So I think they're gonna give them some time, or give Xabi some time to see where exactly they stand 100%. But if they don't stand, like if they feel like they could get these minutes somewhere else, especially like I said, during a World Cup year, I think they're gonna be leaving in January. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, but at the end of the day, you need to have balance on the team. Like you have to have these players who want to. It's a weird combination, man, because these players should be wanting to fight for a spot on the starting 11, but at the same time, there's some players that could be starting easily in other clubs, right? Like Rodrigo, bro, he played great today. Do I think he's gonna be a regular starter over Vinny or Mbappe? No, I don't. Um, but yeah, so it's again great beginning of the season so far. I didn't really like the way that we played last match, but we more than made up for it this match. Uh, Far from a perfect match, but definitely an improvement, and you can't really ask much more for a second game of the season after your season extended so far into the summer. But yeah, guys, so we're gonna see how the rest of the summer goes up to leading up to the transfer window to see if there's any more moves being made out. I very very highly doubt we get a move in unless we get unless someone like Kanate comes over, Liverpool caves, or unless someone crazy comes available on the transfer market that we just cannot say no to. Um, but yeah, guys, until the next one, see you.